Hello, I am Kathy and I'm here today with my daughter Genesis. And today's topic is going to be on a PK kid. So we just want to get some general ideas on how it is growing up as a PK. And today I have 4 questions for my daughter and I want her to give me her honest opinion. And I want her to just let us have it because a lot of times being in that ministerial role, we don't understand what our children are going through. So you're going to hear it here first on Pastor's Wives. So let's get started. Okay, Genesis. How was it growing up as a PK kid? I want you to give us the pros and the cons.
I think the pros starting off would be some people don't really approach you with a different type of stuff, like different type of just anything and everything, like asking you questions. They have respect for your family, therefore they're not gonna try to get you into too much of anything.
What do you mean by that? Get you like things in the church?
Like not just in the in the church, like amongst your peers and stuff like that. They're not gonna try to get you in trouble just because, or try to put something on your name. At least for me. Of course, there's always that drama, gossipers and different things like that. But for me, a lot of people didn't try to come at me in certain ways. I guess they thought, because I had that protection of my family and the name around it was more so, okay, we're not gonna,
Was this for kids out, in outside of a church or children at school?
This was for both in the church and outside of it. That can also take part of the cons though, because a lot of times most people feel as though you can't do anything as a preacher's kid. Like you can't have fun. You can't go anywhere. Oh, you gotta wear turtlenecks and sweatshirts, and your parents expect for you to just not do anything. You're stuck up or all this different stuff, which is not me at all. I think with my family, we like to have fun. We like to goof around anyway. There's certain stuff I don't tolerate on my own, but it kind of hindered a lot of stuff when it came down to some people inviting me, because some people thought, I don't want to even talk to her, because of her dad.
Yeah, that's sad. Putting a stigma on the parents and on the child. Okay, all right. So, what do you wish that you could change about being a PK?
I wish I could change.
What do you wish you could change?
Like, what do you mean?
If you had it to do all over again by growing up as a PK kid, then what would you change? What would you do differently? What do you think? Do you think you should be able to be allowed to go more places? Do you think that was a hindrance on you growing up, not being allowed to do certain things? Or would you change anything?
I think when dealing with that, yes, because some stuff I didn't get a chance to experience till later. And because of all those different things, I was very shy in my teens, and I didn't want to do anything. I was so scared. It kind of either you talked about it or you was told it's wrong. Don't do it. And sometimes people like to actually go out and experience the world for themselves, because a lot of things because of that I had to learn in college by myself. I was like kind of thrown into it. If I would have got a chance to experience that earlier and kind of learn and build on that, maybe I could have had a different experience, a different outcome. I think for myself, I would have not let that title control who I was, because I did impressing other people because of my family and I had to act a certain way. Not saying, you know, I'm all out there, I'm wild or different things like that, but I was very shy because of it. And I didn't want to do certain stuff, or I felt as though I couldn't, and I wouldn't have let that define me. Not that it's a bad thing. Being a preacher's kid is a bad thing, but I wouldn't have.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, is there any difference now that your dad has become a pastor? Is there any difference now with you being a pastor's daughter as opposed to being a PK kid? Because a PK kid is someone that's preaching. It could be you know, a minister in the church, or going out evangelizing, an elder in the church, but they're still under someone. But actually having your dad transition into a pastoralship role, a pastor's role, then did you find any difference with your dad being a pastor, becoming a pastor, and your mom being what they call the first lady, you know, the lady of the church? Was there a difference between either one as far as how they act now as opposed to how they act before being up under another ministry?
Me or like
You,
y'all?
is there a difference?
How I act?
And, well, how you see things, or anything that's a difference?
I think growing up, it was kind of, it kind of felt like we're trying to make a name. We're trying to study and train, so we have to act. Now that I'm older and my dad is now a pastor, it's more so, okay, you know, I don't really take it as a bad thing. Like I said, it's more so some things are just more of a responsibility. Like, you now have to help out. I now have to help out more, like around the church where things need to get done. And I don't really mind that because of how I was raised. It was kind of, I already went through that training. And this is what we've been preparing for. And now that I'm here, it's kind of, okay, I'm more experienced. I know, you know, when I do come back home and help out, I know where where there's a need, just get that done. But I think it's definitely more flexible because I am older and I'm building my own life now. I think I don't mind coming back home and helping, but there's a balance.
Okay. All right. Last question. What advice would you give a preacher / pastor concerning their children? How is there a certain way that, is there something that we need to be looking at, or the pastor needs to look at as far as rearing their children? Is it certain things that they could probably do? Do they need to back off? I mean, what is it that pastors or preachers need to do concerning their understanding their children better?
I would say first and foremost to the pastors and the first ladies, there's that title of being a first lady and being a pastor, but then ultimately you're a mom and you're a dad. And sometimes, even growing up, sometimes the wisdom we may need going through certain situations, because we're still growing, you know, middle school, high school, stuff like that. Sometimes that advice is needed from a mom, not a first lady, not the pre-K school teacher, Sunday school teacher, but just a mom, you know. Sometimes they need that. And I think remembering that and learning how to balance that with the kids, I think is the main foundation to everything else. I would say to the preacher's kids, do not let that define you. If you believe in a certain thing, if you believe in a certain, into that, do not fall into what other people say about you, because they will say stuff, oh, you know, well, I already know you're not gonna wanna. Okay, you can believe that and then go about your day. Like, you don't have to submit to that type of stuff. Because there's a lot of how you're supposed to be as a preacher's kid. I'm not saying go the opposite to prove a point, but just be yourself. So
Okay, all right, very good, very good. Are there any final words that you would like to say today?
I enjoyed myself. Thank you for having me on your channel.
It's always a pleasure, always a pleasure. And that concludes our section or segment on PK Kids. So tune in, there may be a part 2 coming soon. So just tune in, look out for that later. And until then, be blessed. Bye-bye.